14 on the Derby qualifying list is Tax going out for Danny Gargan. I find myself rooting for a number of these horses. I think that a lot of them are very likable. I don't know if any of them are superstars. As I've said time and time again, you can't make a definitive statement on any of these horses at this point in the year. We're April 25th. Their careers have got so much more to go, knock on wood, that it's too early to make a definitive statement one way or the other. If you think this is a good group, bad group, great group, terrible group, whatever, it's too early. But a horse like Tax, to me, he's blue collar and he just shows up. He's a racehorse. Sometimes it's good enough to win, sometimes it's not. Look, a shrewd claim. They claimed this horse for $50,000 in his second lifetime start. He debuted for a $30,000 claiming tag. They claim him out of that second run. They bring him right back into the Rems and throw him to the deep end. Acquits himself very nicely at 17-1. Off for a couple months, comes back, wins the Withers with a 96 Buyer. The question with the Withers, he had 3 horses across the wire. The 96 Fig, sure, the Fig looked great, but the visual piece of it, you're unsure. When you got 3 horses across the wire in a dirt race, not usually a sign of the strongest. He comes back off of about a 2-month layoff to run in the Wood Memorial, and he did have a number of things go his way. Here's Tax. He's getting first run on a horse like Tacitus and anybody else coming from the back. And this has been a very, very swift pace up in front of him. So in many ways, he had the run of the race in this part. He's going to angle out right now into the clear and he's going to continue on with it. At this point, Tacitus is starting to find his stride. And he's going to come and eventually run him down as Tacitus leans in on Tax down the lane. The thing I like about this with Tax, though, is this is the kind of running style that he has and this is the kind of heart that he has. Sure, is he the most naturally talented horse in the race? No, not by a long shot. But the fact that he wants to win and doesn't want to let you by, that goes so much farther to me in a race like the Kentucky Derby than, just sheer ability. Because there are going to be those moments, there's going to be those instances where things don't go ideally for you in a race like this, where you get bounced around out of the gate. And when you get confronted at the top of the lane, we've seen more talented horses with less heart get looked in the eye and say, I'm done. No more. I'm good. I'm going to pack it in. Meanwhile, you have other kinds that don't necessarily have the natural ability that the others do, and they dig in because they don't want to lose. It's no different than human athletes. Some with the most talent in the world, doesn't matter. They don't have the heart. Some that are a little bit up against it from a talent standpoint, but they have the drive and the desire to beat you, that goes a long way. Don't overlook that when you analyze a horse race. Tax, to me, fits that bill. He may not be the naturally most talented runner in this race. He may not even be in the top 5 or top 10. But he wants to go out there and beat you. And the distance, I don't think, is going to be a problem for him. And his versatility. Again, you saw that if there's a blistering pace, he's comfortable sitting 6-7 lengths off of it and then commencing a bid. Or if for some reason the pace is a little bit more moderate, he can be relatively close and still go on with it. Tax is the kind of horse to me that I think you're going to get an honest effort out of him. Certainly one I'd be considering in exotics. Again, I don't know if he's quite good enough to win this kind of race. But I think he's going to work out a good enough trip in a spot like this, and he's going to be a giant price compared to the Tacitus's, compared to the, you name it, the Improbables, the Game Winners, the Omaha Beaches, the Roadsters, any of those horses. He's going to be 2-3 times the price of some of those runners. And I think he has every right to get a piece of this thing. Tax, he's a very likable horse. I hope nothing but the best for the connections. We'll find out if he can pass the test, second start off of the bench in the Kentucky Derby next week.